I have 3 huge stacks of books here, and they're the 26 books I want to read in 2026. Okay, we're going to go over the 26 books that I want to read in 2026. These are all books that are on my physical TBR right now. And so I'm trying to make my physical TBR my priority for this year. And some of these have been on here quite a long time. Some of them are new, but I want to get to them. Who knows if I actually will? Like, some of these are pretty chunky, but let's go over the ones that I do want to read, and hopefully we can finish them all throughout this year. Book number 1 is going to be Picture of Dorian Gray. This is a classic, I believe, about Dorian, and he has like a painting made of him, and like the painting comes to life. That's all I really know. That's all I want to know. I just know people love this book, and it has like horror aspects to it, and so I need to read it this year. I've read like Frankenstein and Dracula and all that, and I need to read this. It's been on my TBR for so long that I figured it's time to finally do it this year. And I mean, it's not super big, so I think this is definitely a possibility to get finished. And these books are in like no particular order. I just like grabbed my list and just started stacking them in neat piles. So there's no order to them. They're all just books that I want to read. This one I have to read, or my sister is going to kill me. And it is The Burning Gods by R.F. Kuang. This is the 3rd and final book in like the Poppy War trilogy. So I have to read this. I've been putting it off because I don't want the story to end, and I don't want the heartbreak that comes along with this book. Like, I'm attached to these characters in this world and stuff, and I know bad things are about to happen, and I'm terrified. So I read books 1 and 2 like back to back, and then I didn't start this one because I was terrified. So I need to read this. Basically, this is about a girl who goes to war in China, and just a ton of political intrigue, all of that kind of stuff. It's hard to like explain this one because it is the 3rd in a series. But if you haven't read the Poppy War trilogy and you like high fantasy, read it because it's so good and entertaining, and it just like grips you. Like, I think I read the first couple books in like a couple days. Like, they were that entertaining. Like, they're very dark and have very like tough topics, but they're worth it. So definitely add it to your list if you haven't. Now we have one from Rina Kent, and it is God of Malice. I have not read a Rina Kent book yet, and I think it's just because I haven't been in my dark romance mood lately, and so I want to get back into that mood. And so I'm hoping one of people's like favorite like series from Rina Kent will help do that. This is God of Malice, and I believe it's like the 2 main characters are from like rival families. They don't like each other, and it's at a boarding school. And that's kind of all I need to know. Dark romance, love it. Obviously, there are going to be trigger warnings in this, dark themes, topics, all of that. So if you're wanting to read dark romance, definitely go into those. But everyone raves about this series, and I think it's about time that I finally pick this up because it's been there. It's only been on my shelf for a couple years, but too long. And I think I have the 2nd book in the series as well. So like, I need to read it, see if I like it. If not, I can unhold both. So this is like a must. Hopefully my dark romance vibe will come back at some point this year, and then I can read all the dark romances that have been sitting on my shelf like the past 2 years that I have not picked up. But who knows, because I'm such a bad mood reader that it's ridiculous. And this next book is actually terrifying because it's a huge book, it's a huge series, and everyone loves it. But it's going to be The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I loved the Mistborn trilogy, and so I need to pick up this series. I know it's not finished, and I think that's what's been scaring me the most. Like, am I going to like get caught up and then have to wait for the other books? Well, with how big these are, I think it's going to take me a while to actually read all of them anyway, so I think I should be fine. But this is like a loved high fantasy series, and I just need to get into it. But this is like a 1,200 page book. Is it 1,200? I don't know. It's almost 1,000 pages, but like tiny font, huge. So I I think it's just intimidating because it's so big and all of the books in the series is this big. And so it's terrifying. Actually, terrifying. So I want to get to this. I need to read through this series. I know I'm going to love it because I love his writing. I love his character development. I love the way he like tells stories, but just the thought of picking this up has always stopped me. And so I think I finally just need to plunge into it and do it. Maybe just like read it over like a couple months span, like read like a few chapters a day or like a week just to get like into it. Because I think once I finally get into the book, I'm going to love it and want to keep reading. It's just starting it. That's the problem. Oh my gosh. I'm terrified for that book. The next one we have is Rouge by Mona Wad. I have read Buddy by her and I loved it. And this one is about Belle, who is obsessed with beauty, just like her estranged mother. And I know this talks about a lot about like the themes of beauty and like family relationships and all of that stuff with like a little like horror element to it because she always has that weird like fiction vibe to it. And so I think this will be right up my alley and I've loved her writing. So I think this will be fun. When I read the synopsis, it made me think of The Substance, I think it is, the horror movie. So I want to get to this. I think it'd be like a good book to read when I'm like sick of like fantasy and all that stuff because it's just going to be like a weird read. So yeah, I'm definitely wanting to read this. I know like people's views for Mona Wad are always kind of like mixed. They either love her or they hate her. So I guess we'll see. If I like this book, I'll know that I definitely like her writing, or if Buddy was just like a one-off for me. But I love weird fiction, like weird fiction with just like unreliable narrators and just like weird vibes is it for me. Like I love it. I think it goes with like my love of like horror because it's just like anything that's like weird and like not supposed to be. So I'm excited to actually get to this one, and it's relatively short. So I'm pretty sure I can do that. Up next is If We Were Villains by ML Rio. This is a dark academia that everyone loves. And it's been on my shelf for like 3 or 4 years now, and I need to read it because I know I'm going to love this. But I just haven't picked it up. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a mood reader. But this is basically about, I think this is about a group of students, and they're telling you like the story of them in college, and one of them like gets murdered, and like this is their weird twisted story and stuff like that. I'm kind of going this one a little bit more blind. Like I knew more about it when I bought it, but I think this will hit better if I don't know a whole lot. And it's a good thing I forget things because I'll be able to go in this one more blind. But people love this, and I love dark academia, so I think I'm really going to enjoy it too. So I just don't know why I've been putting it off for so long. It's not like it's long or anything. So I just need to finally pick this up this year. The next one is one I'm really excited for. It is an indie book, and it's being traditionally published this year. I want to pick up the traditionally published book because it's gorgeous as well. And that is going to be Shy Girl by Mia Ballard. I read Sugar by her last year, and it was a ride. It's another one of those like crazy fiction books, like a fever dream almost, and you just have like these weird characters and unreliable narrator. And this is about a girl who goes on a sugar daddy site because she needs money. She's down on her luck. And the man she ends up getting with basically is like, for 8 hours a day, I want you to be a dog. No human like talk, no like nothing. You have to act like a dog for 8 hours a day. And I guess something crazy happens and she becomes more animalistic and stuff. But that's so like weird stuff. And like, is something going to happen? Is she going to get like revenge or something? Because honestly, I'm here for it. And this cover is actually gorgeous. The dog with like the teardrop and the new cover for it is gorgeous as well. So this one's tiny. And I know this is one for sure I know I'm going to pick up this year just because I know it's going to be a book for me because I love this like genre of books. So I'm so excited for this. And I need to do some research and see what else she's written besides this and Sugar because I definitely think she's going to be like a new favorite author just because I like her writing style, her stories. Like, you just like finish them and you're just like, what just happened? You have to sit and think about them for a while. And I love that from a good, like, weird fiction book. So good. If you haven't checked her out, definitely check her out if you like that type of fiction. The next book I have is A Feather So Black. This is like a swan princess retelling. I believe I got this one from Fairy Loot, but it's gorgeous. I don't know a whole lot about it because I don't remember, like, I remember reading the synopsis when I got the book, but then you know me, I instantly forgot. But look at these end papers. They're just gorgeous. And the physical book itself is pretty. Oh yeah, it is Fairy Loot. It says here on the back. But yeah, all I know is that it is a Swan Lake retelling, and it's been on my shelf for a while. I need to know if I like actually like it. I believe it is a romantasy, and I haven't been in much mood for like romance or like romantasy, but this just always draws my eye. Like, maybe it's a special edition, but it always catches my eye. I'll just read like the little blurb on the top. A Feather So Black is a sizzling fantasy romance set in a world of perilous magic and moonlight forest, spinning a seductive tale of changeling princesses, her cursed sister, and her dangerous Fey Lord, and the dangerous Fey Lord she must defeat to save her family. I mean, it sounds good, and I think I'll really like it. I'll just have to be in the right mood to pick this one up. But yeah, I figured if I don't like it, I'll just put it on Etsy for like what I paid for it. That way I can get it off my shelves. But I think I'm gonna actually like this one. Another one that I don't know why I put off reading it. I should have read it when I was still in my dark romance phase and when I was reading the rest of the series. But this is The Sacrifice by Chantal Tessier. Look at this book. It's a massive. It's like as big as my head. But this is basically a group of rich people that are called the Lords. They are in a university, and the Lords basically, I wouldn't say it's like a cult, but it kind of gives cult vibes. But basically, they're the Lords. They run everything. They have money, all of that stuff. And then there's women that basically marry the Lords, and these are their like dark romance stories on it. This is book 3, and I love the first 2. Like, they're just crazy and ridiculous, and I love them. So I need to pick this one up. Definitely just have to be in the right mood for this. But yeah, if you like dark romance, this is one of my all-time favorite series. So it still baffles me that I have not finished this yet. And there's like 2 other books after this, 2 or 3 other books. So like I have plenty to read. I just need to pick it up. Me and my dark romance phase, it needs to come back because I miss it. Okay, the next book I have is going to be A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. All I know, it's sapphic vampires, 2 women that are basically married to Dracula, and like this is like their story and their love story, and then like the troubles that they face with Dracula and stuff. This is like a fan favorite. Everyone who's read this loves this book. So I don't know why this has been sitting on my shelf for like 5-6 years, because I know I'm gonna love it. And it's Dracula. I've read Dracula like 2 times in the past 2 years, and I'm going to reread it again this year. So like I need to read this. Like, it's a must. I don't know if I'm going to save this for like Halloween time or just when I'm feeling in the mood for vampires and all of that. But yeah, I need to read it. And like the text in this is actually relatively big text. So I don't think it's going to take me that long. But it's sapphic vampires. Like, why haven't I read this yet?
Technical difficulties. We love that. So my mic died and my battery was dying. So that's fun. So that's why you get this lovely intermission. And now we're back. So the next book I was gonna talk about was The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is a dark academia. These kids are like fascinated with their professor and something crazy happens. That's all I know. But for this one, I know I have to read it because we have a bookworms challenge at work, and there's like 50 prompts. And then at the end of the year, you can like win a prize and stuff. And I have to finish that. And there's an award winner category that's specifically, I don't remember, Newbery Award winner or something, one of those. But this is the only book on that list that interests me, so I have to read this one. And it's been on my shelf for like 3 years. So what perfect timing. I have an incentive to read it and to get it off my physical TBR. It's perfect. Also, I didn't have time to wait for my mic to charge, so hopefully the audio's okay. I could probably fix it in editing, but that's why it might sound a little different, because I just don't have time to wait. Alright, and the next book is Cleopatra and Frankenstein. This is just a regular fiction book about a husband and wife and their impulsive like marriage, and I don't know if I'm gonna like this. I picked it up on a whim one day, and I figured I might as well see if I like it, and if not, I can just unhaul it. But this is like totally not my thing. Marriage and just regular fiction, not my thing. So hopefully some crazy stuff happens in this, or I have a feeling I might not like it. But this cover is gorgeous. Like, this is the reason like I picked it up, because it's gorgeous and it intrigued me. So another one of the books that I'm just like, I have to read it, at least try it and deal with it and see if I like it. If not, it can go. One, I'm surprised I have not read yet. Why I have not read it, the world may never know. But it's Mongrels by Stephen Graham Jones. He's one of my favorite authors. He wrote my favorite book of all time, My Heart is a Chainsaw. And I loved The Buffalo Hunter by him last year. It was my favorite book. And My Life is a Teenage Slasher. And I have books in his backlist that I need to get to, and this is one of them. It's basically about a werewolf family and like what they go through, and about this kid growing up as a werewolf and not knowing until like later on. So I know I'm gonna love this. So I just need to finally read it, and it's not very long at all. I love his writing and like his like mix between like horror and the real world and all of that stuff. So I just have to freaking finally do it. I want to read all of Stephen Graham Jones' backlist, so this is a good start. The next one has also been on my TBR for a long time, and I don't know why I haven't read it. Carmilla. This is said to be the original vampire story before Dracula, and I love Dracula, so I just need to read it. And it's like under 200 pages. Like, why has this been sitting here for so long? Also, look how gorgeous this edition is. Like, the bats and everything. This is the prettiest edition I've ever seen of this book. And so I still don't know why I haven't read it. But this is finally going to be the year that I do. Because I always look at it and I'm like, I need to read that. And I just never pick it up. So I have to get this done. If I don't get this done this year, I'm going to be very disappointed in myself. Especially because I'm also planning on rereading Dracula throughout the year. So, come on. I have multiple vampire books that I need to read this year, and maybe I'll just do one vlog. That might be a thing. At least read this and A Diary of Blood together, because that could be fun. Maybe around Halloween. Also, Winterween is this weekend. Maybe I can fit some of these in. That might be an idea. Next one it's a newer to me horror book that I meant to get to in October and I just didn't. And that's Bad Creed. And it says, when Mackenzie wakes up with a severed crow's head in her hand, she panics. Only moments earlier, she had been feeding off masses of birds in the snow-covered forest. In bed, when she blinks, the head disappears. Are you kidding? That's all I needed to know for this. Like, crazy horror vibes and crows and just something like stalking her. I'm so for it. I love a good horror, and I know people really liked this one, and so I'm actually really excited to go into it, because if people are talking about a horror book, I know I'm probably going to like it too, because there's something about it that makes people think, and I'm excited for this. Another newer horror book that I meant to get to in October that I didn't is Moonflow. Look at this cover, first of all. It's gorgeous. And it says, I see something out there in the woods. It does not have a face. They call it King's Breakfast. One bite and you can understand the full scope of the universe. One bite and you can commune with forgotten gods beyond human comprehension. Sarah is a trans woman who makes her living growing mushrooms. When a bad harvest leaves her in desperate fix, the lure of the King's Breakfast hastes her journey into the vast uncharted woods where it grows. But as she descends deeper, she realizes she is not alone. Something in the forest is waking up. It's hungry and it wants her. Are you kidding? A fever dream of a book, trans woman main character. I'm in. I'm in. So yeah, 100% want to read this. I don't know if I'll read it soon or wait till Halloween, but I have to read this because it just sounds like everything I like in a book. So I had to put this on the list. It's one of the newer ones on the list, but I'm so excited for it. And then hopefully I can keep myself accountable and I'll just pick it up sooner because it just sounds so good. The next one is like a weird one. It's also a fiction one, but it has that like weird fiction vibe that I love. And it is Sky Daddy. Basically, this girl thinks that airplane is going to fall in love with her, and when it does, it's going to crash and they're going to die happy and together. That's literally all I needed to know about this book. Unhinged woman who's in love with airplanes and thinks she's going to marry one. Like, sign me up. It sounds so crazy. And just the title of it, Sky Daddy, like, I don't know if I'm going to like this or not. It might be too fiction-y for me. I don't know. But this premise, it sounds very interesting and I'm excited to see how it goes. I've heard a few people not love this book, but they said the ending was definitely good, but I don't know. I'm excited to see where I stand on this. I could absolutely love it or hate it. I guess time will tell, but weird girl lit fic, you know I'm in. The next one is different from most of the other books on the list, and it's American Scary. This is a nonfiction book, and it's like a history of horror from Salem to Stephen King and beyond. Basically, this is just a book talking about all of like the horror and scary things that like happen throughout history and like why we're obsessed with it and stuff like that. And one of the blurbs on the front says, America is the world's biggest haunted house, and American Scary is the only traveler guide you need. I love this book. So it talks about all of like the scary things in America. Like, are you kidding? And I need to read more nonfiction, and this is the kind of nonfiction that I go for. So I'm actually excited to read this. I have another one that I'm currently reading, and it is basically about like the Scream franchise and like the making of it and like the meanings behind it and like all of that stuff, and I'm loving it so far. So I know I'm going to love this one as well. So yeah, this one I've had on my TBR for like 2 years now, and I think it's finally time to pick it up. And it's something that I can read in between like other books and just like slowly read like a couple chapters every day or whatever, and I don't have to rush with it. And that's kind of how I like my nonfiction. It's just like chunks here and there, because then it doesn't feel like too overwhelming. But I think with something like this, I'll actually want to keep reading it. So that's why I kind of put it on the list, because then I can get some nonfiction out of the way and I can read about stuff that I really like. The next one is a beautiful edition that I got from Twisted Retreat, and it is The Bog Wife. Look at how gorgeous this is. So this is basically about a family, and their bog basically creates these wives for the sons in the family, and just crazy things happen. And when like I think their like parents die and they all come back, and then this is them like going through this journey and learning about the bog and all of that. So this one has really intrigued me. Like, it just sounds creepy and up my alley, and it's gorgeous. So I had to have this. I want to get through most of my Twisted Retreat books this year, and so far every book that I've read by them that they've sent out I've really enjoyed. So I have high hopes for this one and all the rest that I have, because they seem to pick out like the perfect horror. Like, it's just like my kind of horror. So this one definitely had to go on the list. There's, as I'm not stacking these very nicely behind me, and it's bad. So this book, I don't know why I didn't read it last year. I always read Riley Sager's books, like the second they come out. I even had an arc for this and I did not read it. And that is With a Vengeance. But this is like a historical thriller. And I think that's what's been scaring me about it. Basically, this girl gets her old friends together on a train and she's planning a murder. But before she even murders anyone, people start dying. And so this is like I've heard it compared to like If Then There Were None. I think that's what it was. It's one of the Agatha Christie ones. I don't remember because I haven't read any Agatha Christie, but I'm nervous to read this one. I don't know if I'm going to like it as much as his other ones, but I need to finally read it. I normally fly through his books anyway, so I need to pick this one up, see if I like it, because also Riley Sager, he can be hit or miss, because there's some books that I've really loved by him and other ones that I've like haven't loved that I ended up unhauling. So I'm scared for this one, and I think that's why I haven't picked it back up, because it's so different from everything else that he's written and that I've read from him. So I think I finally just need to do it though, because I have a feeling I'm gonna like it, but it's just like the thought that I might not like it that scares me. This book my coworker at Barnes gave me, not this last Christmas but the one before, and I still haven't read it yet, and that is A Mask of Mirrors. This is a high fantasy book I need to get to because she wants me to read it. She even gave me an annotated copy, so I need to read it and annotate it. So I just don't know why I haven't, and I'm in the mood for like high fantasy, so why haven't I picked this one up? But on the back it says, favor fortunes the bold, magic favors the liars. Ren is a con artist who has come to the sparkling city of Nadezra with one goal, to trick her way into the noble house, securing her fortune and her sister's future. But her masquerade is just one of many, and as corrupt nightmare magic begins to weave its way through a city of dreams, the poisonous feud of its nobles and the shadowy dangers of its impoverished underbelly become tangled with Ren at their heart. This sounds like everything I would love in a fantasy too. I just need to pick it up. That's why I put it on the list, because I know it'll help me to be more accountable. When I go to like pick up a book, I don't grab it, and I don't know why, because I know I'm gonna love this book. And I need to read it and annotate it as well, because this is gonna be prized possession, because she read this copy and annotated it and knew I would love it. So I just need to take the plunge and actually read it. Another one that I'm nervous about, I had the paperback edition of this book, but then this year, well last year now, they came out with special editions, and so I had to buy the special editions, and that is going to be The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is, I think it's a Norse mythology type of fantasy with dragons, all kinds of stuff, and it says the greatest sagas are written in blood. Like, okay, a century has passed since the gods fought and drove themselves to extinction. Now only their bones remain, promising great power to those brave enough to seek them out. It sounds like everything that I would love. Gods, creatures, each book has a different like monster on the front. Like this one has a dragon. There's one like with wolves. There's one, I forgot what the other one was, but they all just look intriguing, and it's a 3-book series. I can read this, and these editions are actually gorgeous. Like, are you kidding? So I just need to finally read this, because I know I'm gonna like this series, and I've been in like a high fantasy mood, like romantasy, like the romance in them has been driving me crazy lately. So I just need to pick up some high fantasy, because I think that's what I'm in the mood for. So I should get through all of these like chunky high fantasy books right now while I'm in the mood for it. So that's why there's so many on this list, because I'm really hoping that that mood sticks. So hopefully I'll be reading those ones here relatively soon. Okay, we only have 4 more books left. So the next one is Babel by R.F. Kuang. Another R.F. Kuang book. I haven't read this one, and I've been meaning to. Dark Academia. I don't remember what his name is. But basically, a boy goes to the Library of Babel and looks at the mysteries and all of that stuff going on. I don't remember a whole lot about what this one is about, but I love Dark Academia. I love R.F. Kuang's writing, so why haven't I read this? And people love this one. So this has to get read. I read Catabasis before I read this one. Why? I don't know. But this year is finally the year to read Babel. I have quite a bit of Dark Academia on my list, so hopefully I'm in those vibes, and then I can just fly through all of them. Maybe I'll do a Dark Academia reading vlog, which might be an idea. If you guys want to see that, let me know, because that might be a great idea. The last 3, and they're all fantasy. So the next one I have is The Raven Scholar by Antoinette Hodgson. I haven't told the authors of any of these. But The Raven Scholars is another high fantasy. The Raven Scholars is a masterfully woven tale of imperial intrigue from the electric new voice in epic fantasy. That's all I need to know. And they're like, there's these scholars that are like helping someone. Maybe I'll just read the blurb to you because I don't remember. Let us fly now to the Empire of Orin, where after 24 years of peace, the reign of Bersan the Baresque has come to an end in the dizzying heart of Midsummer. 7 exceptional warriors, thinkers, and strategists compete to replace him. When one of them is murdered, it falls to Neema, the Emperor's brilliant high scholar, to find the killer and fight for the throne. Neema believes she is alone, but we are here to help. All she has to do is let us in. If she succeeds, we will win an empire. If she fails, death awaits her, but we won't let that happen. We are the Raven Scholars, and we are magnificent. Finding murderers, games, people that are behind the scenes. It just sounded really good. So this came out last year, I believe. So yeah, this one intrigued me and I like bought it right away, and the cover is gorgeous. So yes, I'm excited for this one. I haven't heard like a whole lot of people talking about it, but I think it's gonna be one that I really like. So hopefully I can actually get to all these fantasies, because I did put quite a few on there. Maybe I should have put some shorter books, but hey, we're just trying to get down my physical TBR. And then the last two are 2 books in a series. One of them I'm actually currently in the middle of. I'm over halfway through. So that bodes well. And those are going to be Swordcatcher and The Ragpicker King by Cassandra Clare. I went to her signing last year for The Ragpicker King. I have my signed hardcover on my shelf, but I had to get the paperback so I can annotate it, because I'm annotating this one. But basically, this is in the city of Castellane, where Kell, he is the sword catcher for the Sworn Prince. They look similar, but when he wears this pendant, he looks almost exactly like him and is basically his bodyguard, his body double, all of that. And then you have Lynn Castor, who is basically a healer in the Salt, where the people that have the last of the magic abilities live, and they're basically, I want to say they're basically stuck there, like in the Kingdom of Castellane. They're like kind of like outcast, and like they have to be in the Salt before it gets dark or they can get in trouble. They're basically like quarantined in this area. Like they can come out and do stuff, but like they're basically trapped there. And all 3 of these characters end up getting caught up into something with the Ragpicker King and some political intrigue and stuff like that. And so far I'm loving this. I'm really liking the characters, and I've read everything else by Cassandra Clare, so I was like, I need to read her first adult fantasy series. So I finally started it, and I want to get both of these done. And I think these will be the first 2 on that list that I finish, just because I'm already over halfway through with Swordcatcher. So I feel like I should just go right into the Ragpicker King. That way I'm caught up, and I have a bad habit of starting a series and not finishing them. So I want to keep caught up on a series for once. So these are the last 2 on my list. That, like each year, it's like you add 1 more book. It can be kind of stressful. So hopefully I can get to all 26. If I don't, that's not a big deal anyway. I just want to get as much off of my physical TBR as possible, and these are just what I'm in the mood for right now. Hopefully it stays that way throughout the year, but who knows, because I'm a bad mood reader. But that is going to be everything for this video. Let me know if you'd like to see any of these books in a reading vlog, and I can plan something around that. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Happy reading.